At a high-energy restaurant, belonging to a small elite chain, anticipation was in the air. Black couple, Michael and Sarah, had made a reservation in advance. They arrived 10 minutes early. But as they handed over their reservation details at the entrance, they were met with cold, dismissive eyes. The employee glanced them up and down, with clear displeasure, before turning and calling for the manager. The manager, a middle-aged woman with a haughty expression, looked at them intently.
"I'm sorry,"
she said, her voice dripping with condescension.
"Your shoes don't meet our dress code. We can't seat you."
Michael, calm but visibly irritated, glanced around. Other patrons arriving, wore shoes no different from theirs.
"We're staying just around the corner. We'll change and return in a few minutes."
15 minutes later, they returned in more formal shoes, but the atmosphere remained hostile. Reluctantly, the staff led them inside, but instead of the center table they had reserved, they were ushered to a far corner.
"We had a reservation for the center table,"
Sarah said, raising an eyebrow.
"We were only 5 minutes late."
The manager shot a sharp glance.
"Late is late. It's already been reassigned."
As they sat, Michael and Sarah couldn't help but notice how other white diners, some wearing shoes no more formal than what they had originally worn, were greeted with smiles, and seated at prime tables. Their waiter, a young man with a scowl on his face, served them slowly, barely masking his disdain. When they attempted to order, several dishes were mysteriously unavailable. Despite the mounting frustration, Michael and Sarah stayed composed. They enjoyed their meal as best they could, continuing their conversation over a glass of wine. Just as they were relaxing, the manager returned, standing over them with crossed arms.
"I'm going to need you to pay your bill and leave,"
she said coldly.
"This table is reserved in 5 minutes."
Sarah stood slowly, straightening her shoulders, and in a calm, commanding tone, said,
"I'd like to see the reservation list, please."
And while the manager answered something, continued,
"I'm the new CEO of this restaurant chain."
The manager's face drained of color.
"Over the past several months, I've seen a troubling number of complaints about racial discrimination at this very location. I didn't believe it at first. I thought perhaps the accusations were exaggerated. But today, I decided to see for myself."
The room seemed to still. The manager stammered, her once smug demeanor, now reduced to a flustered mess.
I didn't."
Sarah raised a hand to silence her.
"Today has confirmed every single one of those complaints. Not only did you and your staff discriminate against us, but you've also perpetuated a culture of racism in this restaurant."
She glanced at Michael, who smiled knowingly. The manager, and all other employees, who share her mindset, were immediately fired. Word of the event spread quickly. By the end of the week, the restaurant had sent formal apologies to all previous guests, who had filed complaints, inviting them to dine at their expense. The chain had swiftly taken action, not just in firing the manager, but in setting a new, higher standard, for all their locations. Sarah's quiet, but firm stand, became a symbol of how to confront prejudice, not with anger, but with undeniable strength.
If you like our content, could you please subscribe this channel, and press the bell icon? This will be of great help to the development of our channel, as we are going to provide you huge amount of interesting information about different places all over the world, and more.